I'm just doing a little bit of a follow-up to the first Java video I did on the War of the Ring board game through the Java clients for playing online. In the first video, I just went through sort of a lot of the mechanics of it and a lot of other sort of basics with movement and stuff like that. There are a few things that I didn't really cover that I thought might be good to see sort of how it's done as well too. So what we've got, I've moved forward quite a bit in the journey, and I've got an option here to maybe take corruption or to actually take a random companion. And just to show you how it's done, I'm just going to take a random companion here. So to do that, we're going to go up to free peoples in the menu and just click on random companion, and that's going to choose one of these two. Now unfortunately it's killed Boromir to a 1 tile, so that's not ideal. That's not something I would have done in the game if corruption was still at 0, but I just wanted to show you how that was done. What we can now do is just click on any of those and click escape on the keyboard. That'll kill those off as well. And with the shadow player, I'm just going to put this die down here. What you might also have noticed is this one's in the red. So what that's telling us is that we've actually got more than the 6 cards that we can be holding in our hand at any one time. So shadow player is going to have to kill off a card before proceeding. So we'll just discard threats and promises. And I'm going to play this one. So on they went. We're going to add this red tile here, so we'll just pop that one down there. And then the way to add a special tile to the pool is you go across to hunt, and then under hunt removed, so we'll just left click on that one, drop that one either in here or here preferably. That way it'll just show our opponents that we're adding that tile. The tile's been added properly. You could just drop it straight in hunt used if you want. This is just a nice visual way to show people that you've actually done it. And then just hitting escape. And what that will do is it'll put it in hunt used there. So what we'll do now is the fellowship's going to actually declare. We'll just recover dice. I'm going to do control 9 and the free player control 0 for the shadow, but you can go up to free and recover or recover up here, so that's the same way too. The fellowship was just flashing for a second, so that's just a new feature in the latest Gandalf version 7 I think it is, which just reminds us really to actually put the tiles that are in hunt used into the hunt pool. Now not all the tiles, we don't want to actually put the standard hunt tiles back, so all we want to do is left click one of them and then hold down control, and we can select all of the special tiles as well as the eye tiles. So then we just right click on the hunt pool, and then the Mordor hunt pool track is ready to go as well. So that's fine. What we might just have a quick look at is, I'm just going to add an eye quickly, and we'll roll that, and we'll roll the free player. We're just going to put this Palantir down here, and I'm going to use an Elven Ring. Really a couple of ways you can do this. I like to just go Control U, and then you can see here in this little dialog box, it'll just tell us, yep, we've used an Elven Ring. That pops over here, so then the shadow player can use it whenever they like. Or you can go, instead of the shortcut, you can go game and use Elven Ring, or you can just select it and drop it in here. As well, which is completely fine. Then what I also like to do, especially if I'm playing someone who's relatively new, or maybe you're new to it as well, is you'll click on just actually change dice result to whatever you want it to. So here we'll probably go C, and then we can flip the fellowship and hide them. Cool as well, so that's fine. What we might just have a bit of a look at is also, you can go up to view in the menu, discarded cards, and this will just show you some of the cards that have been used before as well, that have been played either in combat or as an event. So that can be quite handy to keep a track of, if you're the free player, maybe some of the fellowship damaging cards that are out there, or as the shadow you can see what places have already had recruitment cards used as well. Another thing we'll have a bit of a look at now. I'm not sure if I've done this. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to roll some random dice, and I'm doing that by just, you can go up here and then roll, or I'm using the shortcut of like Control 5, just rolling some dice just to show you in the stats what we're looking at. So here it just gives us a bit of a breakdown of the both combat. So when it says combat dice, it means any dice that have been rolled in field battles or siege battles, but also in the hunt as well too. So it factors those in. Of course, when you're playing a game against someone else, it'll show their dice over on the other side, whether that's the free player or the shadow, and then you've got the actual action dice as well too. So you've got your musters, your army muster, your army character, Palantir eyes, well the west, etc. And that is just quite interesting to see how you've rolled. Some games you'll get some really weird rolls, and you'll have like Palantirs on +8 or whatever, which isn't great, but that can happen, unfortunately. But yeah, it's nice just to be able to reference that and see what's actually happened in your game. What we might have a bit of a look at as well is if your game crashes. So that can happen for various reasons. Sometimes though, what will happen is one of the players will be able to go up to File and Save, and then you can just load that and then resync to each other. But I'm going to assume, and this does definitely happen as well, that neither player has been able to save the game because it's frozen on both ends. So what will happen is you'll need to force quit the program. So I'm just going to quit out of there. Then what you'll need to do is load it back up. So just opening up as normal. And then what you'll want to do is go up to File and Load Game. And you'll want to go into this folder called Auto. Here there's going to be a lot of files, and it's going to look a little bit weird to start with, but easiest way to get around it is really just to go up to Date Modified or whatever it is on your Windows, or I'm on a Mac, so it might look a little bit different, but it should be under dates and timestamps as well. Here we can see some different times. Now, the main thing is to look at exactly what the time is right now when you've opened it. So because it's telling me 9:25, that's telling me that it's probably going to just open up. If I load that file, it's just going to show me a blank game like this. So some people, and I used to as well, I used to think, oh no, the game's gone, I've lost it completely, because I used to try and load the latest one. So what you actually want to do is go back a couple of minutes. I would normally recommend, so this one's probably a little bit too far, 9:14. I would say let's have a look at 9:23. And if you get the wrong one, that's cool. You can always try that 9:14 one as well, but we'll try this one first. And yeah, that looks pretty good. So the hunt used, oops. Yeah, cool. So we've got all the special tiles in the pool there as well. So that's cool. So that's done. Now, obviously, when you do that, then what you'll going to want to do is then reconnect to your opponent. So you might then go host game, and then your opponent will connect back up to you. If they do, what they'll then need to do is they'll see this message down here that they need to synchronize as soon as possible. So to synchronize then back to your opponent, so your opponent has loaded the save, you'll then need to go up to multiplayer and click on synchronize to opponent, and then it's just going to synchronize requested, and it's going to resync. Now, what it's done on my end is it's put it back to square one, so it won't work if you're just doing it to yourself, but when you do it to your opponent, it should sync back up to their save as well. All right. What we might have a bit of a look at too, I'm just going to quit back out of here, is how to watch a replay or like an old game, which can be quite handy. I like to watch some old games just to get sort of ideas on different strategy things that you can do, different ways to play as the shadow or as the free, and to do that, what you want to do is go up to replay, and the key thing is to quit out of the game completely if you've played a game, and then just load up fresh as well, so it doesn't get confused. So go up to replay and go load replay file. I'm just going to choose a recent game that I played the other day. I'm going to go open with that one, and it's not going to look like anything has happened. So again, that's completely fine. It has told us here though that I have loaded a replay file. So what we want to do from here is go up to replay and then just go play pause. And soon, pretty quickly, you'll start to get these characters and things. Now, it may look a little bit different in yours. I see a lot of Warriors of Middle-earth and Lords of Middle-earth characters for some reason, and miniatures. I'm not sure why they come up. Maybe it's because I play them a bit, but it might just be the same across all Java apps. I'm not actually sure on that. Now you can, if this is taking a while, so I normally try and speed this process up a little bit so you can just go faster. Click that a couple of times. You can use the shortcut, so we've got Control Shift Plus, or to slow it down. So I'll speed that up a bit. Yep, there we go. And then I'll slow that right down so I can sort of have a bit of a read as to what's happening. So Control minus. Cool, all right, and I might just, and then we can just pause it here as well. So we can sort of see what's happening now. We can see the rolls that are taking place. We can't actually see the cards. So a lot of logs will come attached with passwords. They don't always. The good thing is though, when the card is played, if there aren't passwords attached, once it is played on the table, you'll be able to see it as normal. You just won't be able to see it while it's just in their hands. Because this is one of mine, I of course know what my password is. So I'm just going to go try and view mine and put that in. Oops, that's embarrassing. What is my password for this one? Oh no, I know. It's because I always think I'm the shadow because that's my favourite side. So there we go. I'm actually the free player in this game, so that's why that password wasn't working. So yeah, so that'll just show you what you've got there as well. I can't remember Backdrift's password, so that's fine. I'll leave that. But yeah, you can you might be able to see both of those when you watch your log, and then it's really just a matter of playing and pausing. And going through, slowing it down, speeding it up, whatever you like, and you can you can really see everything that's happening, including a bit of the commentary between what they're saying to each other, and as the game progresses. So it's just a really good way to get some more ideas on strategy and stuff like that as well too. And some games are really entertaining to watch because they've got quite a bit of drama happening in them, which is cool. So what we might also do, what I like to do when I'm playing War of the Ring, is just to have the rulebook open as well too. So I've got a digital copy of that open instead of the physical copy. I mean, the physical copy is great. I like to sort of keep it, I guess, unused as much as I can, just because I'm trying to protect it. But the other thing I like to do too is the really thing with the digital one is that you can type in stuff and actually find what you're looking for, I think, a lot quicker. So if I'm looking for Saruman, let's say I'm not sure whether bringing in Saruman gives me another die in the game, you can have a bit of a look through and just see, oh yeah, here we go, action dice pool, and see what the rules are regarding that, and then you can look for other things like the rules of retreating to a siege and stuff like that too. This is on a Mac. This is just like the basic preview viewer for PDFs, but I'm sure on Windows there's something pretty similar which would work just as well too. So that's not a bad idea. I like to do that too, especially if I'm playing someone who's asked me a question, and then that way I can refer them to the page of the rulebook, and then hopefully that can help them in the future as well, just know exactly where it is, and that I'm not just making up rules as well too. What we might also just lastly have a bit of a look at in this video is how you can, if you're interested in competitive. Now, if you're not interested in competitive, that's completely fine. A lot of people just play casually. They look for a game on Facebook, or we've got a Discord channel now as well, and you can just go looking for game casual, and that's completely fine. Like, you just want to have a game against someone, and that's it, and that's all absolutely cool. If you want, though, you can play a little bit more competitively, and there's a couple of ways to do that, or I guess about 3 ways to do that. One is there's a ladder, and basically I'll show you sort of how that works. There is also a league where you play a number of different people. You only play the same person twice, and then there's also an annual tournament, which is actually happening at the moment as well too. But what we might do is just have a bit of a look at the ladder. So I'm going to go over here to a web browser, and so what we've got, I've just gone to the BGG channel, Board Game Geek, which I'll link you as well, and we've got a couple of areas. So what we'll do is, this is quite useful too for other things like strategy ideas, where people discuss different things, also rules that are a little bit ambiguous maybe, you can sort of go through them. And then in general there's loads of different things like how to paint miniatures and random stuff like that as well. So I'm going to open up general, and I'm going to go down to 2020 online results, and we're going to have a bit of a look in here. So this is the first post. So I'm going to open up this one in a new tab. This is going to take us to the ladder Google spreadsheet, and this just shows you how long it's actually been happening. So it goes back a few years. We've got some different ones like Gondor and Rohan, which are first edition expansions, but we're sort of more interested in what's happening in 2020. And this is mostly base games, but it actually shows us here as well with the expansions. Some people, including myself, like to play with the expansions like Lords of Middle-earth and Warriors of Middle-earth, and it just shows you the breakdown of those different games as well too. But the main thing we're looking at is over here on the left. So we've got the ladder with the current leaders and everyone that's playing on it. So basically how it works is, if you're playing someone, so let's say we've actually got 2 new players to the ladder, and maybe they're not even new players, but they haven't played yet this year. So let's take a couple of players here. So they're both 500. You start with a shadow rating of 500, and the same with the free player. And so let's say you have played someone with the same rating as you, and you've won, and you're the shadow. What you'll do to work out the score, you can go in here and you can see, okay, the score difference is 0 to 10. So that means you get 16 points. As a shadow, that free player will lose 16 points as the free player. Now, what you can actually do too is you can go in here and you can actually put in your name, so where it says player and beats other player, put in their name as well too. The other way that you can do it as well too is you can just do it manually, and I often just do it manually as well, because I just like to put it in and work it out, and that's completely fine as well too, because when you report it to the ladder, an admin will put it in and they'll see if there's anything that's come up incorrectly, but normally it'll be completely fine, and they'll just add it in and it will automatically add to the ladder. So once you work that out, what you'll then do is actually go back to this tab where you've got the thread with the online results. You want to go pretty much to the end page. You can scroll at the bottom and you'll be able to see the latest results here. Looks like there's a couple of things that need correcting, but that's okay. And then you can just click on reply and just have a bit of a look as to how people have formatted it. So they've got things like, because they're sort of keeping track of the stats around, okay, how many base games are being played versus Lords of Middle-earth, etc. When it finishes, turn 8, things like Shadow Army, Military Victory, and things like that. So then you can just copy all of that in. So you've got Shadow rating changing, free players stay the same, of course, how many games, and you take that from the ladder. And then the average score as well, so that your difference between the shadow player rating and your free player rating will give you that average as well too. And then some players like to write in a little bit about what has happened in the game, which is quite nice. But you don't have to. You can just literally write, X player beats, the other player, whatever, in X amount of turns, and that's completely fine as well too. Um, yeah, so that's the ladder. The other thing we might just have a really quick look at is in organised play. Um, there is also the online league as well too. So I have a bit of a look at this one. I really like this. It hasn't got, it definitely hasn't got as many people playing it yet, but I like it because it sort of encourages people to play different players. One of the slight downsides with the ladder is that the same people can end up playing each other a lot of the time. With the league, it has been, well, a little bit quieter because it is newer, but it does already have quite a few different people, and you only play the same person 2 games. So you play them once as a shadow, you play them once as a free, and then you put in your results, so 1-1 or 2-0, whatever, and then you get. Now I'm just trying to remember here. I think it is. Let me just work this out. You get 3 points for a win, and you get 1 point for a draw, and of course you get nothing for a loss. And there's also a discussion document because it's fairly new around thoughts and ideas and stuff like that. And you just put your result in here. So winner, loser, type of game, winning side, and there's sort of some running stats as well too. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm probably going to be looking at a few other things shortly as well too. Things like some issues that can come up with Hamachi. I'm definitely not an expert in Hamachi, so I think it's better to look at videos that I'll include below this video. But I'm going to also have a little bit of a look at port forwarding. So that way you can actually not even have to use Hamachi if you're getting Hamachi issues that you can't really resolve easily, because there are a couple of weird ones that come up and they can be quite weird to resolve. Cool, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, I'll be bringing another video through relatively soon. Thank you.